Anybody else? Sarvadhi vrittya anubhuta sarvam Atma yatha swapna janaikshatayikaha Tam satyamananda nidhim bhajeta Nanyatra sajjeryata atmapataha. Okay, reading word to word meaning. Srila Prabhupada, Saha, he the Supreme Person. Sarvadhi vritti, the process of realization by all sorts of intelligence. Anubhuta, cognizant. Sarve, everyone. Atma, the super soul. Yatha, as much as. Swapna jana, person dreaming. Ikshita, seen by. Ekaha, one and the same. Tam, unto him. Satyam, the supreme truth. Ananda nidhim, the ocean of bliss. Bhajeta, must one worship. Na, never. Anyatra, anything else. Sajjet, be attached. Yataha, whereby. Atmapataha, degradation of oneself. Translation Prabhupada by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. One should concentrate his mind upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who alone distributes himself in so many manifestations, just as ordinary persons create thousands of manifestations in dreams. One must concentrate on the mind on him, the only all blissful absolute truth. Otherwise one will be misled and will cause his own degradation. Okay, purport. Before starting purport, let me offer this because I think I want to discuss the purport line by line. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namam Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinam Ste Saraswati Deve Gurvani Vacha Visheshanyavadi Vacha. Okay, so purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is starting this purport with a line. In this verse, the process of devotional service is indicated by great Goswami, Sri Sukadeva Goswami. So the word...
Otherwise we can't hear.
Inside?
Yeah.
Oh. Then perhaps... Pace? So, Sukadeva Goswami, Prabhupada actually starts this purport by the process of devotional service is indicated by great Goswami Sri Sukadeva. And this word in this verse is bhajet. So that means devotion. And the chapter's name is the first step in God realization. And the first step in God realization is devotional service. That's what Prabhupada is coming to this point, because this chapter is talking about universal form, the worship of universe. So many people, they like, no matter also, many people like to worship nature. If you ask who is God, nature. Because scientists like Einstein, they were theists to a certain extent, like Leibniz philosophers and all those. But if you ask them, what is your conception of God? For them, God is this universe. This magnificent, wonderful universe governed by physical laws. So that's the conception. This is almost like yogis and they worship like that. But at the end of this chapter, Sukadeva Goswami comes to this point, forget all that. And you worship the universal form of that person whom this universal form belongs. Not this form. Just like we have soul and body. So, okay. What is important we all know soul is important and body is just a vehicle. Similarly, this entire world is like body of Supreme Lord. And Lord is the soul. So, whom should we worship? What is more important? Krishna, not this universal form. Intelligent person will recognize that. For fools, this machine is important. But for intelligent person, the person sitting in the machine is important. For fools, the person who sees, that is important. But for intelligent person, the person by whom the person by whose power we see, that is more important. And Prabhupada will come to that point here. That is where Prabhupada begins with the purport. Process of devotional service is indicated in this verse. Sukadeva Goswami takes a leap, but a logical leap, not just a leap of faith. And he says, fine, yes, yogis meditate on soul and not on this body. Similarly, yogi should meditate on the super soul, the soul of the universe, and not just universe. And that process is devotional service. And then Prabhupada begins with the purport. He goes forward. He says, he tries to impress, he means Sukadeva Goswami, he tries to impress upon us that instead of diverting our attention to several branches of self-realization, we should concentrate upon Supreme Personality of Godhead as a supreme object of realization, worship and devotion. So the words used here are Ananda Nidhim Bhajet. Okay, so you have to worship somebody. Whom? So the point is Satyam Anandam Nidhim Bhajet. Prabhupada translates that. Whom you should worship. There are so many branches of self-realization. So many processes, no? There is Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga. Many people are trying so many things to understand God. But what is the real process? And that's what Sukadeva Goswami is coming to the point. Prabhupada is writing and translating this line, Satyam Anandam Nidhim Bhajet. You should worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is full of bliss. Bliss means basically variety. There is no bliss without variety. No? So mother is variety. Variety is mother of enjoyment. We all know that. So bliss means variety, and variety means form, name and pastimes. There can be no variety without name and forms. So Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning that you should worship that Lord, Anandam, that Lord who has pastimes, name, form and qualities. That's the word by which Ananda is used. Ananda is used because to help us indicate that Krishna has his own abode, his own pastimes, and Satyam. Satyam means, Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning to us, why do you want to worship this universal form, which is temporary? Worship something permanent. And that's what Prabhupada translates as here. We should concentrate upon Supreme Personality of Godhead. Na nyatra. Don't focus on anything else. Although there are valid processes of realizations according to Vedas, these processes are given by Vedas. Worship of universal form. Ekatvena pritatvena bahuda vishvada mukham. That's Bhagavad Gita. Some people worship Krishna as impersonal form. Ekatvena, everything is one. Some people worship him as pritatvena, that is in form of demigods. Bahuda vishvatamikam, some people as universal form. These are all bona fide processes given in Vedas. But Sukadeva Goswami says, forget all those. We worship the source, not all these things. And how should we worship? Krishna is object of realization, worship and devotion. Prabhupada uses 3 words. Realization, worship and devotion. So, what do you mean by realization? That's a word used here, anubhut. Anubhut means realization. Bhajet means worship or devotion. So actually bhajet means devotion, and then there's worship. There are 3 steps to understanding God: realization, worship and devotion. 3 consecutive steps. So realization is vipra. intelligent person. Who can understand Vedas? Knowledgeable person. When you get knowledge, you get realization. When you get realization, you start worshipping God. Then you become a Brahmana. Okay, you are worshipping God. Worshipping God through processes of scriptures. And then when you become Brahmana, the next stage is Vaishnava. You don't only worship him, you start loving him. There's a difference between worship and loving. Worship means rules and regulations. Loving means also rules and regulations, but now with the aim to please him. That's what is the difference between worship and devotion. And that is puja and bhakti. There's a difference between that. So, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So, Jnana Yoga offers you realization. Karma Yoga gives you the process of worship. And when both of them combine with proper knowledge, it leads you to Bhakti Yoga. So, Prabhupada speaks all the three here in these 3 words. Self-realization, as it were, offering a fight for... This is beautiful. Prabhupada immediately switches to another point. Actually, Prabhupada's purports are different, because if you read commentaries of other acharyas, there are things there, but Prabhupada catches a pulse, like, you see, that's Prabhupada. Prabhupada is acharya. He knows what is best for us. And Prabhupada is a fighter, if you can think about that. Prabhupada says in many of his letters, preaching is fighting. You fight with wrong concepts. Prabhupada said, you fight with scientists, you fight with philosophers, you fight with wrong ideas, and help ignorant people to understand what is wrong, what is right. That's what we are fighting for. We are not fighting with them. We are fighting with them to convince others. Because they will never get convinced. If you go and challenge a scientist, he is not going to understand. He is not going to definitely change. There are many people you have tried, big academic people, they are going to change. They might change, they might not change. But the point is, you might help others who are confused by them. Philosophers, Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, Kierkegaard, and all these scientists. So Prabhupada is coming to this point. Self-realization is offering a fight for eternal life against material existence for existence. Self-realization is a fight with yourself, with your mind. There is something knowledge and there is something realization, and there is a difference. At the level of knowledge, you can get confused. At the level of realization, you never get confused. And it's simple. Suppose we have this shirt. No, we wear the shirt entire day. No, whole day we are wearing shirt. So do you ever become confused? I am shirt. No, we are wearing it, but we don't hesitate to remove shirt in the night. Oh my God, if I remove my shirt, what will happen? This is me. It doesn't happen. We never get confused. But body, we are confused. That is realization and knowledge. And that is a fight. A fight is with illusory energy, which will not allow us to mature knowledge into realization. We might know so many things, but realization is different. You might know, okay, fine. For example, you might know, yesterday I was giving an example. You might know, okay, there is one sun or one moon. Everybody knows this. But if you get a squint, you understand squint, no? Like, if you get a squint, then you will see 2 suns and not just 1 sun or 2 moons. But it will be very difficult to convince that person knows there is just 1 sun, but he's confused. He can't see 1 sun. He can see only 2 suns, no? Because his eyes are defective. So that is realization. He has knowledge there is 1 sun, but he doesn't realize that there is just 1 sun because he sees 2. When his squint gets corrected, his eyes gets corrected, then he can see 1. And then he can say, okay, I can see that. So that's the difference between knowledge and realization. Knowledge is at level of intellect. Realization is at level of soul. Knowledge is theoretical understanding. Realization is direct perception. Pratyakshavagamam dharmayam. Knowledge is Krishna's holy name is supreme. Realization is that Krishna's holy name is Krishna himself. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. It is a fight for eternal life against material existence. Devotion is like a fight. Where there is love, there is war. We have heard that, no? So both things go together. We are fighting with illusion to serve Krishna. And that Prabhupada brings that point. Prabhupada many times brings this point in Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says devotion is declaration of war against Maya. In one of the purport, Prabhupada writes that. It's difficult. It's difficult to fight with senses, with illusion, and with our own self. If there's one thing which stands between Krishna and us, it is not Maya. That's again illusion. It is not illusion standing between him and us. It is we ourselves. We are there between Kala Chandanas. That's why he doesn't talk to us. We don't see him talking to us. But he can talk. And in history we see so many acharyas, they were talking to deities. They were playing with deities. No? If you go to Vallabh Sampradaya, they were Kumbhandas, Surdas, they were playing with Krishna. Srinathji, they were playing with him. So why? How is it like? How is it that he doesn't interact with us? By his causeless mercy, he has revealed himself to us, but he doesn't interact with us. Why? Because we are our own enemy. We are stopping ourselves. There's a wall between us and Krishna. And we think this wall is Maya, and that's Maya. That's illusion. This wall is not illusion. This wall is not Maya. This wall is you yourself. You have made this wall. And you think that this is something else. That's the problem. The sooner we realize that we are the problem and not anybody else, the sooner we stop blaming others. This is a problem. This is a problem. This is a problem. My mind is a problem. No, you are the problem. If you are strong, your mind cannot do anything. Is it? So, just like parents, they say, my child is a problem, he's so naughty. Well, the problem is parents, because they didn't teach their child properly. They didn't have proper training to teach their child. Similarly, we say our mind is a problem, mind is like a child. So you can't say, my mind is not so fixed on Krishna. Well, you are not fixed on Krishna because you didn't have the capability to train the mind. So that's the fight. Declaration of war against Maya. So fight for eternal life against material struggle for existence. Therefore, by illusory grace of external energy, the yogi or the devotee is faced with many allurements which can entangle a great fighter again in bondage of material existence. Prabhupada speaks here that Atmapata, this word, you can degrade yourself. If you're fighting with a strong enemy, the strongest enemy of all, Maya, then there's a problem, because if you're weak, she can always confuse you and you can again go in bondage of material existence. She is always ready to confuse us, and she has many tricks and techniques. You can be sitting in the temple at the same time fully confused. It can happen, no? It can happen. We are in front of Krishna at the same time fully confused. That can happen to us. That is Krishna. Krishna can do anything. If we are not connected with Krishna, Prabhupada says, illusion has God-like power. God-like power. She tricked Brahmaji, Who can trick Brahma? But Brahma was so confused that he was running after his daughter out of lust. That is Brahma. You can't imagine Brahma doing that, no? All rishis were praying to Brahma. Brahma, what happened to you? You are the origin of Vedas. By 4 mouths, Vedas appear. And you are running after a daughter? Like this, even an ordinary man will not do, no? Even if nobody is going to do that. And yet he was doing. And after that, suddenly he got, what I am doing. And he prayed to Krishna. Krishna told, fine, do one thing, burn your body. Finish your body. Because you are contaminated, and then you take another body. So Krishna is showing by Bhagavatam, by history, Sukadeva Goswami is showing us that even Brahma can get deluded. He can do such an action which we can't even dream to do. That is illusion of Lord. That's why Prabhupada says it's a great fight. It's a great fight, actually. Devotion is a fight. After fighting, you develop love. For whom you fight, for him you develop love. Is it? It's like that, no? So many people, they fight for their country, and slowly they fall in love with their country, no? So similarly, if we fight for Krishna, we fall in love with him. That's what Prabhupada always said. Prabhupada said in letters, take risk for Krishna. Prabhupada said, no? And Prabhupada was sending his disciples. We go to China, we go to Africa, it was a risk of life. It was definitely a risk of life. So in this fight, people who take risk, they are given special benediction by Lord. It's like that, no? In war, only 1% or 2% get that, what's that, prize? They get prize, no? Chakravarti in India, we say that. In America, what do you say that?
Medal of Honor.
Oh, Medal of Honor, yeah. So in fight, people get Medal of Honor. Who gets? Ordinary soldier? Who is just shooting, tuck, that's all. No, Medal of Honor is got by those people who risk their life and who save their country. So you don't get Medal of Honor. So this is a big fight against illusion. And who gets the Medal of Honor? That is love of God. Who is special, who does extraordinary work for Krishna, who is risking for Krishna. That was Prabhupada. Prabhupada had many god brothers, Gaudiya Math. And of course, all were instructed by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur to preach. Everybody was preaching, according to their level. But Prabhupada did a special thing. Many Gaudiya Math people went to England also. Bon Maharaj, they all went to England. Germany they went while Prabhupada was in India. And Prabhupada, how could only Prabhupada could get mercy? And they were scholars. Keshav Anand Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhari Maharaj, Sridhar Maharaj, they were big scholars, Sanskrit scholars, and good in philosophy. In fact, Prabhupada said that some of them were his Shiksha Gurus. He considered them as Shiksha Gurus, Gaudiya Math, sannyasis. But then, they didn't get mercy of Lord as Srila Prabhupada got. What Prabhupada did, they couldn't do. What was the difference? The difference was, we can read Prabhupada Leelamrit. The difference was, he risked his life for Krishna. If you give your life for Krishna, Krishna will give his life for you. That's what he promises. Yathamam prapadyante tam sathe bhajamyam. As you surrender to me, I shall surrender to you. Surrender to you means I shall serve you. Krishna likes to serve his devotees. No? If you ask Krishna, Krishna, do you give mercy to your devotees? Krishna says, no. I don't give mercy. I serve them. Is it? From his perspective, it is service. From our perspective, it is mercy. So that's what is love all about. And if you give life for Krishna, Krishna will give his life for you. But the point is, Krishna cannot give his life. He cannot die. He's spiritual. So what he does, he says, okay, fine. I cannot, you died for me. You lived for me and you died for me. So I always lived for you, but I cannot die for you. So what should I give you? I give myself to you. You control me. And that's what is Vrindavan all about. Gopis, Yashodama, Anand Baba, they are controlling Krishna. Because Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Devotion, when the chapter of love comes, Prabhupada writes, what is love? Love is that state of attachment when that attachment continues even after so many obstacles. Even after so many reasons for that attachment to break, still that attachment continues. That is love. If you're attached to a person and there is some problem and you break with him, that's not love. That's lust. But love is exhibited when there are so many reasons to break. Okay, fine, this person is nonsense. I want to get out of him. And still you can't get out of him. Still you can't leave him. That's attachment, no? Is it? That's love. And that is what is all about. That's what Krishna knows. He loves me. So that's why if you take risk, you will have many problems. And how do you take risk? If you preach, it's risky, no? If you preach, not just give lecture, but preach, then it's problematic. People are funny out there. So it's a little risky. You have to face so many arguments, so many people. You have to prepare yourself to fight with wrong ideas. And in that risk, Krishna, the more you are taking, the more obstacles, the more there is chance to develop love for him. So that is why Bhagavatam always, like Kunti Maharani, what she is praying? Give me miseries? Why she is praying that? She is fool? No. Because when you have problems, your love increases. Like Ram, when he went to forest on the orders of Dashrath, what happened? Bharat Maharaj, Ram's younger brother, he was back in the kingdom, and he was separated from Ram. And of course there were problems because he was not ruling directly as Ram did. And his love was like diamond in a coal. If you keep diamond just like that, it doesn't shine much. But diamond comes from coal. Everybody knows that, no? If you see a diamond in a coal, in a black background, it will shine. Similarly, when Krishna sees his devotees serving him with sacrifice, then that service shines more than simply serving. And that's Prabhupada writes in one of his letters that Krishna Consciousness, Prabhupada writes there, I can't exactly paraphrase, but he writes in one of his letters, I think 1972 he writes, that Krishna Consciousness is not about following rules and regulations. That's the means. But Krishna Consciousness is about service and sacrifice. Prabhupada uses two words. Service and sacrifice. Mere service can please him. Service can lead you to him. But service with sacrifice will make Krishna come to you. So what do you want? You want to go to him or you want him to come? If you want to go to him, you will never reach him. That's a very long path. And there is illusion. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning. But if you want him to come to you, then who can stop him? You'll meet him, definitely, because he decided to come to you. So that's a safer path. That's devotion. That's devotion. And that will happen only when we get Medal of Honor. And that will be given to that person who sacrifices for Krishna. Sacrifices. You can sacrifice some things. You begin sacrifice by sacrificing your sleep. No. Prabhupada said, get up and get the Mangal Arati. At least sacrifice your sleep. Okay, you begin like that. You begin sacrifice by sacrificing your time. Chant 16 rounds. Why not 4 rounds? Why not 1 round? 16 rounds. Because you need time for that, no? In your busy life. So sacrifice your time. You begin sacrificing by sacrificing eating outside. Okay, so there's a rule. Don't eat outside. Eat offered food. So all these regulations are made to help you understand that you have to sacrifice. It is not just rules. That's why Rupa Goswami said in Nectar of Instruction, Niyam Agraha. Following rules without understanding what you're following. That's sticking to rules. And if you stick to rules, then you go to rule lok, not go lok. There'll all be rules there. You can be happy following rules. But the point is, the point of making rules is to get a feeling of sacrifice. That's the idea. If I tell you, if somebody tells you, you should sacrifice, but you will not understand like that unless you are put in a system. Is it? Nobody understands like that. If a teacher tells to a student, speak truth. Well, what's truth? First of all, how should I speak? No, you have to give an example for that, isn't it? Okay, truth, okay, fine. This person spoke like this, in this condition, that is called truth. Is it? Somebody came to kill that person and he asked, who are you? I'm looking for this person, this. And he was the same person. And finally, he was truthful. He told, yes, I am the same person. And he got a big thrashing, So that's truth, you see. So then you got understanding of truth. In history, we have Harishchandra. Everybody knows Harishchandra. Satyavadi Harishchandra. He always spoke truth. And yes, so we understand, yes, this is called truth. So similarly, to understand what is sacrifice, you need to be put in some problems. If you're not been put in problems, you can't understand what is sacrifice, what is risk. It's impossible. Everything goes nicely. So rules are there to give us this sense. And when we can understand this sense of selflessness, of sacrifice, then we can advance. Then we can sacrifice more for Krishna, just like Prabhupada did. He understood. And he did, okay, fine, I'll go to America. Even if I die, what's a big thing? Anyway, we can't live for Krishna, at least we can die for him. So that's what Prabhupada thought. And he said, fine, I'll fulfill the orders of my Guru. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. Self-realization is offering a fight for eternal life. There can be many allurements and we can fall down, but we have to be careful. So, then Prabhupada continues his purport about yogis. And I'm not going to read all of the sentences, but Prabhupada is saying yogis, they also meditate on Krishna. They try to attain Krishna, but they get attracted by mystical powers. That's a problem with them. So they get allured by mystical powers, and they fall down. There are many allurements in the path of devotional service also. In the path of devotional service, there comes in Bhagavatam one chapter, even demigods will put obstacles when we advance. If we are really advancing, they'll put obstacles. Why? To test us? No, to actually glorify us. So we see Dhruva Maharaj, he is meditating on Krishna, and demigods try to put obstacles in his path. Like so many demigods, they came in form of his mother, there were tigers, there was fire all around, but Dhruva, he didn't really, he wasn't disturbed. He fixed his mind on Krishna. So similarly, these were done by demigods. Why? To glorify Dhruva. So there are many allurements. There has to be allurements. When you advance, there will be allurements. Why there will be allurements? Krishna wants to give some pain to his devotees? No. Why there were so many problems with Prabhupada when he was preaching? Why? Why so many problems? Why heart attacks? He's a pure devotee, no? Why heart attacks? Why he got myalgia problem, health problems? Why there were so many problems? In ISKCON history, we know at one point of time, in the initial days of ISKCON, they passed a resolution that we should ask Prabhupada to leave ISKCON. They asked Prabhupada to leave ISKCON. Okay, they decided, fine, Prabhupada is out of ISKCON now. And somebody called Prabhupada, I think he was in Japan somewhere. They called Prabhupada, so you're out of ISKCON. Prabhupada said, what is happening? I'm out of ISKCON. What is this? And then Prabhupada, I think something happened. I think the Malkrishna Maharaj was there. I don't know what was happening. But Prabhupada called and Prabhupada sent his devotees, and then he said, you're fools, what is this complete nonsense? And something called salt, and then they told, no, Prabhupada, we are sorry. But the point is, Prabhupada was facing so many silly problems, which in India was unimaginable. Nobody is going to throw their spiritual master out of their own movement. What do you do with that? So the point is, Prabhupada faced problems, small problems, big problems, physical problems, management problems. It was crazy at that time. But why problems was there? Question is, why didn't Krishna make it smooth for him? And there's just one reason. Not just to give him problems. Krishna is not interested to give problems to his devotees. Krishna wants to make sure that his devotees get glorified. That's the point. If you have no problems, if Prabhupada would have went to America, nice, in ship, nothing happened, come here, suddenly all disciples, we would not have glorified Prabhupada as now we are doing now. So that's why Krishna gives his devotees problems and risks, so that their love shines. And we can understand, in spite of so many problems, they were determined to serve Krishna. And that's what Prabhupada is mentioning here, that there might be so many allurements on the path of devotion, but we should see that allurements as mercy of God. not as actually allurements. That is why this word is the Atma Patet. Don't degrade yourself by your own mind. So if there are problems, generally we get depressed, no? There's so many problems, my God. And you get depressed. No. Problems are our friends. Because problems disturb you, but devotees do not get disturbed by disturbance. That's devotee. And that's what Prabhupada says. By this warning, one should follow one's vigilant intelligence only. By intelligence given by Krishna, not his own intelligence, devotee can understand that problems are not problems. Maya is not Maya. It is all mercy of God to make us strong. No? You see, just like these people, boxers in America, they have boxers. So they fight. So there's a coach coaching that boxer. And when he's fighting with the opponent, he might be losing, That opponent might be punching him right, left, but the coach will not say anything. He'll just keep on looking. And he will say, buck up, fight. He'll inspire them, but he'll not stop the fight. In spite of that his candidate is like getting good beating on his face. Why? Because he knows the more he gets beating, the more strong he'll become. Is it? Well, he guides him. Okay, you box him like that, you do this. But he doesn't come in between and he lets opponent fight. So similarly, Krishna lets our opponent illusion allure us. Krishna lets our opponent, our enemy, whom we are fighting, Maya, to actually to block our path, to give many problems. Krishna lets her do. At the same time, he guides us, like a coach is doing. And in the process, what happens is we become strong. If you don't have an enemy, you don't become strong. If you keep on practicing Kung Fu in your room, you never learn Kung Fu. You have to really have some enemy, to fight and learn Kung Fu. You can practice your steps, but you don't have a proper enemy. So that's the point. That is why there are two meanings of Maya. Maya means illusion, Maya means mercy. And that's what Prabhupada says. By your mind, elevate yourself. Don't degrade yourself. By your intelligence, elevate yourself. By intelligence, you understand that this is a big laboratory. This world is a big laboratory. There is Maya. There are problems, there are risks to help you love Him, to help you express your love for Him in the best possible way. That is why sometimes it is said, in spiritual world, love doesn't shine as much as in material world. Because spiritual world, there is no problems. Everything is going on nicely. No, Krishna never separates himself from gopis of Vrindavan. He doesn't separate. Spiritual world is always there. But here he separates. And the moment he separates from Vrajvasis, their love increases millions and millions and millions of times. It shines more, no? The moment Dhranavarth, Putna, Shaktasur, Pralambasur, all these demons came, what happened to Vrajvasis? They were calling Krishna, Krishna, where are you? Their love increased. Otherwise they were playing in a football match or whatever they were doing. Playing nicely. Okay, Brahmaji came, what is this, They are just kids. He got confused. They're just playing. But when demons come, then they love, okay, Krishna, you are everything. Please protect us. See, that surrender, that love, it comes out. So that's intelligence. That's intelligence. Intelligence says that you should never be disappointed. Never be disturbed. Use illusion to advance, not to degrade yourself. That's what we are doing here. This is all made of illusion now. Mic and everything. We're using for Krishna's service. Our mind is made by illusion. It's a product of illusion. But we use mind in service of Krishna. Our mind disturbs us. We say to mind, good. Disturb me more. I am becoming strong. By your grace. That's the idea. That is why in Ramayana you have Raman. So it is said, Raman was more important than Hanuman. It is said by Bhaktivedanta. In one perspective. Why? Because if Raman was not there, there would not have been Ramayana. Without Raman, there is no Ramayana. Without Raman, there is no Hanuman. Without Raman, there is no problems. There is no obstacles. There is no kidnapping of Sita. And without problem, without obstacles, you can't understand love. You can't understand love. It's impossible to understand love. That's it verse all about. Nanetra sajjet yata atma patet. Don't become attached to anything else. Sajjet means attachment. Don't become attached to anything else except Krishna. Don't focus your mind on anything else except Krishna. But how to do that in this world where there are so many things? Krishna is there in altar, but there are so many things around us. There's so much illusion. And the trick is you see everything, like Prabhupada used to say, see everything as mercy of God. That's a trick. If you see everything as mercy of God, you will advance. If we see everything as an obstacle, then there's a problem there. You'll keep on fighting, but you'll lose the fight. That's all. You'll lose the fight. You will fear then. So that obstacle is a mercy. That's the point. That obstacle is serving you to advance. And the more obstacles, the more you become encouraged. No? Yes, God, I'm having a challenge. Take it as a challenge, not as a, what is this? And behind that challenge is a plan of God. So Krishna helps. And Prabhupada writes a big purport. And Prabhupada gives an example. In this verse, the example is given, Yatha swapna janeshu ikshita. So there's an example given of a dream. Okay, Sukadeva Goswami says, you can't understand all these things, these complex things, problems and mercy and risk that is required. What you are talking, I'm in problem. So Sukadeva Goswami gives an example of dream. So just like we dream, So in dream what happens? Dream we forget ourselves. This life we forget, we're in another world. And in dreams we experience distress and happiness. So many things we experience. And we are the only person who is experiencing. Ikshita. If you see in dreams you are observing everything, is it? In dreams, in real life, I can't understand what you are thinking. But in dreams, you can understand what other person is thinking, You can understand everything. What's happening there. You're almost like a super soul. You are the architect of your own dreams. And you make your dreams and you understand what is happening. You interact. So, Sukadeva Goswami is an example. Just like dreams, we dream, we have so many different types of dream and we know what's exactly going in dream. Similarly, this word is dream of Lord. It's a dream. That's what first line says. Sarva dhi vritti anubhuta. What's that? Anubhuta sarva. So just like we see our dreams, we create our dreams. Similarly, Krishna creates His word and Krishna sees this word. Just like dreams, we know it's illusion. It is there for some time. It's not reality. Okay, fine. I'm not concerned with dreams. Similarly, this word is dream of God. He makes this, just like dreams are insignificant. For Krishna, this word is insignificant. He doesn't like this word. Krishna doesn't like this material word. He comes, but He doesn't like. He comes for us. He doesn't come for all these things. He has a distaste for this. Because everything in this word is dead. Everything in this word is devoid of pleasure. Everything in this word is devoid of knowledge. Everything in spiritual word is eternal, full of knowledge and full of life. That's spiritual word. The water even thinks. Water thinks in spiritual word. When Krishna is thirsty, he's going with his friends. He doesn't have to take water. He's thirsty. Water understands. Krishna is thirsty. It takes a form, brings a glass of water, gives to Krishna, again goes back. That's spiritual word. Prabhupada says that's a magical word. Everything is living there. And so why Krishna will be interested in all these things? For him, it's like insignificant, that's all. So why Sukadeva Goswami is giving an example? To help us understand, to help us fight better. So if you're fighting with the enemy illusion, you should think this is all insignificant. Just like father, like sons. So for master this is insignificant, for us it is insignificant. I'm not really interested in this. If you're interested in this word, then fight becomes very difficult to win. That's a trick, what Sukadeva Goswami is giving us. If you're interested in this word, devotion becomes difficult. Because the fight becomes difficult. Because you're interested here. Your interest is going here. Your interest doesn't go to Krishna. And that makes it difficult. That's why I told at the beginning of lecture, between Krishna and you, The enemy is not Maya. You are the enemy. Because you are making this fight problematic for yourself. Because you are interested in this word. And then the fight becomes strong. The enemy becomes strong. If you are interested. If you are not interested, enemy becomes weak. Maya will leave you if your will to enjoy is not there. She will leave you. That's the idea. If you will to enjoy, then you become weak. She can put you down. That's the word you sankalp. Sankalp, you understand sankalp? Determination. The will not to enjoy, the will to surrender to God. Yes, I will not entertain anything of this material world. This material world is useless. Why this material world is useless? Because my Krishna, he doesn't like. Whatever Krishna doesn't like, I don't like. That's all. Finish. That's what is like that. My master doesn't like, why should servant like? Simple. So that's what this example is given for. And then you can win the fight very easily. You get power. You get the power. And then illusion can't do anything. Because you've conquered yourself. Simple. What can illusion do? And that's what this verse is all about. So Sukadeva, that's why Prabhupada begins the purport with this line. In this verse, process of devotional service is indicated. No? So we talked about entire process of devotional service. Now, we have not talked about rules and regulations, but we have talked about the principle behind the process. That's what this verse is offering, the principle. This fight, the risk, the problems. How should we view the fight as? Why fight is essential? How should we win the fight? How should we become strong? All these points Sukadeva Goswami is mentioning in Bhagavatam and the second canto, first chapter. The first step in God realization. That's the first step in God realization. To understand why you are doing what you are doing. That's the first step. If you don't understand why you are doing what you are doing, then you lose. So, that's this verse all about. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much. Any questions? I'll stop there. Anything? Okay. No questions. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Radha Kala Chandji ki Jai.